And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you what some of the causes are and how you can get a turnaround in arthritis, whether it be osteo, rheumatoid arthritis, and also gout. And that's the good news. There can be a turnaround, and we've seen many conquer these things.
Arthritis can cause painful and uncomfortable symptoms, but the good news is that there are simple, natural ways to relieve pain without medication. In this video, we explore the causes and 5 natural remedies for arthritis, shared by renowned health expert Barbara O'Neill. Arthritis doesn't come on suddenly. It develops due to specific causes that often go unnoticed. So what are those causes?
So an acid environment in the body is one of the #1 causes of arthritis. Now, you can go back to look. Old injuries is often where arthritis can manifest itself, and there can be different factors there. There can be an inherited factor. There can be a factor of injury to that area, which makes it a little bit more susceptible. There can be an acid environment. Often a breaking of these laws. As Ellen White says, that disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that arise because of a violation of the laws of health. And many people don't realize that. So I'd like to go through how a breaking of these laws could be a big contributing factor in arthritis we're seeing today.
Having examined the root causes of arthritis, it's now crucial to explore ways to naturally address and even reverse its effects. As Dr. Barbara O'Neill emphasizes, achieving balance in the body through simple yet potent natural remedies is essential. Number 1, exercise.
Arthritis thrives in an acid environment, so just that one simple step to begin with, oxygenating the body, can make a difference with arthritis and gout and any form of arthritis. And the most powerful way to oxygenate the body is exercise. So let's go straight over to the 5th law, because that's intimately connected with oxygen. Yes, you will ensure more oxygen's going in when you sleep with your windows open, when you have a bedroom. You see, we spend a third of our life in that room, so it's absolutely vital that you ensure that you've got fresh air in that bedroom. But exercise increases in a dramatic way the amount of oxygen going into your body. Right now, while you're sitting watching this presentation, you're breathing in 500 ml of air and you're breathing out 500 ml of waste. But when you're exercising, especially to the point of breathing very, very deeply, you're breathing in 3,600 ml of air and breathing out 3,600 ml of waste. So exercise increases the oxygen and in that way can alkalize the tissues.
Exercise helps improve blood circulation, which in turn enhances oxygen delivery to the joints. When blood flow is increased, the body is able to supply vital nutrients and oxygen to the cartilage and tissues surrounding the joints, promoting healing and reducing inflammation. Regular physical activity also helps maintain joint flexibility and strengthens muscles around the joints, providing better support. This combination of improved circulation and stronger muscles can reduce pain and prevent further damage to the joints, making exercise an essential component in managing arthritis and maintaining overall joint health. 2. Drinking water.
So water, 8+ glasses a day. If you're used to 3 glasses of water a day, start drinking 4, then start drinking 5, and then start drinking 6. A lot of people, especially elderly people, don't want to drink water because they don't want to have an accident or they don't want to have to rush to the bathroom and maybe not make it. So there is a way to drink water that will certainly lessen that, and that is little by little by little. Don't drink a whole glass at once. Drink a third of a glass at a time, or a quarter of a glass at a time, or a half a glass. Do an experiment one day and have a mouthful of water every 5 minutes and just see how much water you consume in a day just by doing it little by little by little by little.
While it's a common guideline, individual hydration needs vary based on factors like age, activity level, climate, and overall health. The key is not to focus on a specific number, but to ensure you're drinking enough water to stay hydrated throughout the day. Listen to your body. Thirst is a natural signal that you need more water. Drinking enough water plays a crucial role in alkalizing the body and supporting the elimination of waste. Water helps maintain the pH balance in the body, preventing it from becoming too acidic, which can contribute to inflammation and joint pain. Additionally, staying hydrated promotes the efficient removal of toxins and waste products through urine, which can reduce the buildup of harmful substances that may aggravate conditions like arthritis. Proper hydration supports the kidneys, liver, and lymphatic system in detoxifying the body, helping to maintain a healthier environment for joints and tissues to function optimally. 3. Foods to consume.
So we're going to make an alkaline list of foods and an acid list in foods. By looking at this acid-alkaline list, you can determine what is the best foods for arthritis and what are the worst. The most alkalizing is the humble lemon. And the lemon is acid where it should be and it's alkaline where it should be. Acid in the stomach to help you digest your meal. But when it's broken down in the gastrointestinal tract and the minerals are absorbed into the tissues, the minerals are an alkaline forming minerals. So this is the sodium and potassium and calcium and magnesium and iron. So the lemon is high in the alkalizing minerals. Dark green leafy vegetables. Dark green leafy vegetables are very alkalizing. We should be eating dark green leafy vegetables every day. So someone might ask, well, what about cooked spinach? Spinach is high in oxalic acid, and in its raw state, the oxalic acid is in an organic state, so it's alkalizing. But when you cook silver beet or spinach, the oxalic acid now is in an inorganic state and it can have an acid effect. So people who have arthritis or gout, they're best to keep to the raw cabbage. Maybe they have a cooked cabbage dish occasionally, but that's the only green that will turn because of the oxalic acid in it when it's cooked. Also vegetables. Vegetables have an alkalizing effect.
Incorporating fruits, whole grains, nuts, and legumes into your diet can significantly help reduce inflammation due to their alkalizing properties. These foods not only balance the body's pH but also provide essential nutrients that support joint health, offering natural relief for those managing arthritis and similar conditions. 4. Foods to avoid.
But for the arthritic person, there are a few vegetables that can have an acid effect, and that's bell pepper. So when someone's wanting to conquer arthritis, the bell pepper must stop. Tomato. Tomato can also have an acid effect on someone who's suffering from gout or arthritis. Eggplant, sometimes called aubergine, and also the potato. And I'm referring here to the English potato. The Fijians call it the white man's potato. I'm not referring to the sweet potato. The sweet potato is not a potato, it is a yam. So these can have an acid effect on the arthritic person. If a person doesn't have arthritis, they often can eat this class of vegetables. But if you're wanting to conquer your arthritis, your gout, these things have to stop. Not forever, it's just till you've conquered it.
Additionally, avoid acidic foods such as sugar, processed meats, and wheat. These foods tend to create an acidic environment in the body, which contributes to joint pain and discomfort. Reducing your intake of these foods can help control arthritis significantly. 5. Ginger remedy for arthritis.
Ginger is great for joints, especially inflamed joints. So what you do is you just grate that ginger very fine, and you take a cloth, maybe you have a cloth this big, and you put the grated ginger into the middle area, and then you fold it over. I call it east, west, north, south, and you make a little package. And when you've made your package, here's your package, and then you just have a little bit more plastic around it that covers it, or I should say it goes under it, and so it's applied to the wrist with the plastic over, and then it can be bandaged on. And we have found many people have testified that it draws the inflammation out of the skin to the point where it almost feels like the skin's burning, but it doesn't burn. So a ginger poultice, and that's excellent for painful joints. And remember, it is quite a powerful anti-inflammatory, has a powerful anti-inflammatory effect. So I suggest people put the ginger poultice on and put it on, just choose one painful joint where you put it on and just see how it feels. Maybe you'll put it on at 6 o'clock and you're going to bed at 9 o'clock. See how it feels by 9 o'clock. If it's just too hot, take it off. Even that amount of time, it will have an effect. And remember that hot skin is an indication of the inflammation that it's drawn out of the joints and to the skin.
If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more empowering health insights.